most people completely overestimate what they can achieve in a year, but completely underestimate what they can achieve in 10. So having that patience as well and going, okay, well, I might not be in the position that I hoped I would be in right now, but I've got my plan. I know what I need to do next to get a little bit closer to where I want to be. And just, have a bit more of a longer term mindset can definitely help as well. One thing that we've noticed throughout our investment journey is that it is certainly an emotional roller coaster, and you need to make sure that you're managing your emotions, you're managing your mindset throughout that journey. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the mindset of successful investors and what they do.
Sure. So I'd say the number one characteristic we see in people that achieve
above average results
and get financial freedom sooner, which is what investing is all about, is they consistently take action.
Yeah.
Now, I read an incredible book years ago called Launch by a really famous marketing guy called Seth Godin. And in that book, Seth talked about a characteristic that all professional athletes, successful business people, and successful investors follow. And that is they consistently take action and calculated action. It's just not rushing in for the slaughter. It is understanding what needs to be done, knowing that you'll never have every single piece of the puzzle properly connected. But then instead of getting stuck there and in information overload and looking to talk to heaps of people that don't really know what they are talking about, they find that courage to take that consistent action.
What I find as well is that when you're investing in whatever it may be, starting a business, investing in property or the stock market, is that sometimes you're just not going to always have the information that you want to feel as comfortable as you want to be to take that action. And sometimes you just got to take the leap of faith and have trust that you have done the right things to get yourself in that right position. And that kind of leads into the next thing, which is a plan. All successful investors always have a really, really strategic plan that they stick to get their...
It's said to me. Like when I was just getting started, I was just laughing because I wasn't a successful investor at that time. I was just an investor. But at least the first 5 to 6 properties I bought had absolutely no flow, no consistency, and no plan to them. And the reason I'm sorry to hijack you, but I'm laughing about it. I'm just like, yeah, plan would have been epic.
The thing is, and another one as well, because plan is 100% certain now, and this is what we always start with every single one of our clients. We start with creating that plan, developing the strategy, because it's the first step. But at the same time, over the journey, you also need to be flexible because things are going to be thrown at you. Banks may change their regulations, council may change their rules, and you've got to be flexible with changing that strategy, but still sticking to the plan.
Without a doubt. So planning is so simple and people overcomplicate it. It's just a successful investor will know where they are, where they would like to be, and then at least their next few action steps. Mm-hmm. You don't have to see the entire plan all the way through and put together this massive business plan and stuff like that like we learned to do at uni. It is just as simple as going, here's where I am, honestly, this is what I can borrow. Here's where I want to be in 15 to 30 years. And this is what I'm going to do first to get there, and make sure that step sets you up for a better next one and a better next one. And it is no more complicated than that.
No, because you don't want to spend too much time living in the future either. So having the understanding of where you want to be, but then understanding what's the next step and just focusing on that, which most of the time with the property investment journey, it's saving money.
Without a doubt, almost all of your time is spent saving money, refining the portfolio, getting better interest rates, getting better advisors, reducing the cost base on your property. Most of investing in property is super dull and boring, especially when you get past the fun buying accumulation phase that we talk about. So, that's the next point that all successful investors have, and that is consistency and the ability to maintain a certain level of discipline as they move through particular parts of the journey. Now, I'm actually stoked with the way that I've gone through it, in the sense that I have been really consistent with savings. I've been consistent with constantly looking for better quality information, better teams of advisors, and building that, all of that sort of stuff. But I've also been consistent in the face of adversity, because stuff does come up. I got a call once from a manager and my property was being burnt down. I've had, things
like what?
like literally like the worst case scenarios. I've had a time when I thought I had insurance on a property and then I realized that it had expired 4 months ago. That was like 2 years ago because I didn't have a process in place at that time, which I now do for double checking that particular property's insurances. I've had all sorts of renovation stuff come up. I've had properties where I've invested too much money in them and then sold them at the wrong time, or missed the markets a number of times as well. And so it's just recognizing that as an investor, you're always going to have adversity. There's always going to be stuff coming up, and you've just got to sort of learn to roll with those punches. And instead of fighting it or running away from it, just being there and just going, this is cool. I don't have to hook onto the crazy thoughts my mind is creating. Over 15 to 20 years, it will work out, and having the confidence that if your plan's right, if you follow the rules of history, you'll get to the place you want to be.
And as humans, we're natural born problem solvers and innovators. So, when some adversity is thrown at you, if you just take a step back and separate yourself from the situation, logically unpack what's going on, you can more often than not just figure out a plan. You pivot your strategy and then you know what you need to do next. It's as simple as that.
It really is. Like, we were at our sister's 30th Crystals, who you guys all know, over the weekend, and I was sitting down with my brother-in-law, who I love, but he was sort of saying that he was so frustrated in that moment because this is his words, like where he saw himself now and where he wanted to be was so far. There was such a gap. And sitting with him, it was just heartbreaking because I felt like that before. And I know a lot of investors feel that way, where they're sort of like, I know I want to be financially free and I know I've got to save a deposit, or I know I've got to invest this money, but there's this fear and there's this freaking out and there's this identity attached with keeping it safe. And so another big part of successful investment is, here's the comfort zone and here's just a little bit outside of it. And to create a unique life, you do have to dip the toe in the water and get outside of your box, which, might mean looking at markets that you might not normally look in or grow up in. It might mean looking at properties that you might not live in for yourself to get to where you want to be. It might mean starting where you are and then slowly over time building high quality stuff. It's just getting started is the secret.
And this really talks to the next point as well, which is patience. All successful investors are really patient. Most people completely overestimate what they can achieve in a year, but completely underestimate what they can achieve in 10. So having that patience as well and going, okay, well, I might not be in the position that I hoped I would be in right now, but I've got my plan. I know what I need to do next to get a little bit closer to where I want to be. And just, have a bit more of a longer term mindset can definitely help as well.
I love it. Can you do the Tony thing now? I fucking love that quote. It's one of my favorite. And, understanding that you've got to get rid of the ego.
Yes.
Understanding that you cannot do this on your own. When I first was getting started, and most investors feel the same way, they're just trying to do everything, micromanage, their accountant, micromanage their solicitors, their building and pest inspectors, their property managers, just being on top of everyone and thinking that control will somehow make that, oh my God, I'm freaking out moment disappear. But it doesn't. We need other people in part of this game. I don't want to be getting calls at 10 o'clock at night with the plumbing issue. I want my property manager to handle that. I don't want to be looking at the downside risk of a fire event at my property. I just want to trust that I've got the right person to help me get the insurance in place and to cover that. I don't want to become a tax specialist when I've got a tax advisor and a depreciation guy. What I want is to know a little bit about each of those things, to manage those people correctly and to set their expectations and to trust that I've found the right people and those people will do their job. And if they don't, to have the confidence to go and find better people.
For sure. Successful investors always are team players. They always understand that there are certain people that may be better at doing certain things than they are, and they leverage off their experience and their expertise, which is awesome. I've got a little bit of a hair right in front of me, which nobody can see in the video, but I can.
I'm glad you got rid of it. The next one is, they have a long-term mindset. all successful people that I've ever met in business, in sports, in property, in relationships can see, as my psychologist says to me, the woods from the trees.
Yeah.
They have an ability to see the tree, they have the ability to see the forest, but they have the ability to differentiate between the two. And I think it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got to be able to know that there is a bigger picture. What's the quote that you've just put on the wall that you've got from Bruce Lee, your vision board for this year, around, you know, good times and bad?
Oh man, I only put it up a few days ago. I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll have to paraphrase, but essentially it's along the lines of every situation in life is temporary. When things are good, roll with it because they're not going to last forever. And when times are bad, understand that all things will pass and it will be good again soon.
And I just love that. I think the ability to have a long-term mindset, when I got that call saying, you know, my house is burning down, like, you know, enabled me to go, oh my God, like, obviously, thankfully, I had good insurance in place on that property, but also what I want is financial freedom. What I want is unusual choices in my life by the age of 45 in terms of how I spend my time with my family, my friends, the type of work I do, the type of money I give away, volunteering, traveling, caravanning, surfing, looking after myself. And it's like, by knowing that that's where I want to be, and I can so clearly see myself having that. In fact, I don't just clearly see it, like I'm living it. Like
yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. Like even though I might be working 4 or 5 days a week at the moment, I still feel that way. Like I still feel like I'm doing what
that's out of choice as well. Like you want to be there, you want to be doing it.
But yeah, like I feel like it's not this like Gatsby moment where I'm reaching for the green light and hoping, like so many of us do in our life, that at some point it will be better, that financial freedom will make me feel better, that retiring at 55 instead of 60 will change my life in a positive way. It's fully accepting that now is the best moment and that the quality of my plan plus the vision that tomorrow will be better and that I will achieve something financially for my family is like strong enough to pull you through all the bumps and bruises that come up.
For sure. And I think that kind of leads into the last one that I wanted to talk about, which is delaying the gratification as well. So you need to figure out, yes, how you can be happy in the moment, because that's the only reality that we're given right now. Understand where it is that you want to be in the future, but, you know, being happy with the moment that you're in right now and delaying that gratification because it's 100% necessary. You know, you can't go out there and buy the expensive car. You can't go out there and go on that 6-month holiday and blow, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. You know, you can't always go out and eat out at dinner or whatever it may be that you enjoy doing. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices to achieve a level of success that isn't normal.
And maybe you can have those things, but just not at the same time as you could get started as an investor starting from scratch. Like, you know, Robert Kiyosaki says that you can have everything you want, and so does Michelle Obama, but just not at the same time. Like, it's like, let someone pay your properties off, and then once they're paid off, use the money that they're paying you passively to buy that nice car. And, you know, we've traveled heaps throughout our journeys. Like, it's such a big, important thing to us. We we don't miss anything, but instead of like chasing the big materialistic stuff at the start of the journey, we're just chasing experiences, moments, people, good quality health, and that is the difference. And I think all people that achieve something have that ability to forego a little bit now so that the long-term future will be better.
No doubt about it. And yeah, I think that's really important because the journey for us has been pretty great. You know, I feel as though when I look back, I haven't had to make too many concessions or sacrifices, but to us, that's more of a mindset and more of okay, well, I'm happy with everything that I've got in my life right now.
Yeah.
We're not chasing those material objects. We're not chasing those big expensive ticket items. We're just accepting that, you know, a day down at the beach with the boys that doesn't cost anything is an awesome freaking day.
Exactly.
You know, or a surf trip down to the northern New South Wales coast is an awesome holiday for us where you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money as well. So it's like kind of substituting out, okay, yeah, I might want this awesome thing, but what is the next best thing that's still within my budget, that's still going to enable me to do exactly what I need to do, and focus on that.
I love that, man, so much. Like, some of the things that have helped us that I didn't have in place when I was getting started is daily practices and rituals. So it's like, you can't get rid of necessarily a habit, but you can replace it with one that gets you closer to where you want to be. And so, you know, we do things like meditate. We do things like Wim Hof breathing. Like last night on the way home, I got 4 bags of ice. I made the bath way too cold. I was trying to have a cold bath, and I hopped in for like a minute, bitched it, hopped out for like 5, hopped back in for 30 seconds. I did that 5 times. So I don't know what happened.
Something's better than nothing.
It's like we eat well. Like, we don't drink too much. It's like those little things that keep you in a good headspace. Like, consistently, you know, have people in your life, because life's better shared. Like,
meaningful connections.
You know, look after the bodies. Like, do meaningful work. Or as Ryan from On Property, like, he gave me the best conversation in December, where he said that he wasn't enjoying his business a few years ago, and he read something where you can start to look at and find the happiness in what you're doing. And it's like, there's a lot of people out there that are waiting for the next moment to find that happiness, the next person, car, experience, dollar in the bank. And it's like, by just surrendering to that fact that as humans, we can never be actually happy. No matter what we achieve, it's not going to make us any happier, maybe for that moment, but not long term. And just going, instead of like chasing happiness, I'm just going to look for joy in each moment. And he started to find joy in his business again and the little things he was doing. And I hope as an investor, you can find that. Like, you can find the joy in the boring meeting with your accountant because you're learning more. You can find the joy in going through a 100-page building and pest inspection because you're protecting your 500K asset against its downside by spending half an hour doing that. That you can, you know, learn to step out of the comfort zone and really figure out what is the best thing for you. That you can sit down and have that hard 2-hour deep think with your partner or on your own and go, this is what I want and I'm worthy of getting it and I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean?
For sure. You know, something that's helped me massively with having that ability to kind of accept the reality that you're in right now and being super grateful for that is working on a gratitude meditation where you simplify your life so much that you are so grateful for the tiniest little things that anything above that is you're even more grateful for. So grateful to the point where our heart is beating just constantly. Like, you know, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. Your heart is going to continue beating. It's like, shit, well, that's just happening. It's like, well, you know, that little bit of savings that I'm putting away that keeps getting bigger and bigger every single week is going to enable me to buy my property, which has been my lifelong goal. Like, thinking about it from a different perspective and being more grateful for the opportunities that you have to do those types of things. You know, we're so lucky to be living here in Australia with choices, with a good government, with an amazing weather, lifestyle choices, all the things that we have here. It's like, you know, sometimes you just got to get out of your own way and kind of realize how amazing life actually is for you to go out there and, you know, achieve a better life for yourself in the future.
There are two things that Simon and I have been talking about a lot in the last year. Like, one of the things that creates success or failure is the ability to get out of your own way and allow it to happen. With the right plan, with the right team, with the right daily habits and consistency in your approach, you will achieve it. And some people will achieve it in 5 years and some people will take 35 years, and that's completely cool. The other big thing that I've learned as an investor that's been helpful is just being kind to yourself too. Like, most people that are in their own way have a really, really bad internal self-talk, which is just stopping them. And it's not their talk. It's their mums, it's their dads, it's their grandmas, it's their grandpas. It's whatever traumas come through their life and the stories that they've told themselves. And it's okay. Like, we all go through stuff. Like, I've spent years and years at the psychologist, and I'm just so grateful that I'm prepared to work on that stuff. Like, I'm prepared to go, I'm not going to be the thing that stops me back, like stops myself from moving forward in my future. I'm going to be a partner, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be soft on myself. I know as an investor, I'll keep making mistakes.
Yeah.
That's okay, as long as I learn from them and I put in ones and zeros and a process that can protect me. And that's really why we have a business, because I was making so many fucking mistakes for myself that I'm like, I created such a system to not make them, that now I think our selection process makes it so hard to buy for our clients and ourselves.
It's the Benjamin Franklin model, right? It's the, like, he didn't look at the 1,000 times he failed as a failure. He looked at it as an opportunity to go, okay, well, that's one way that I don't do it. Like, that's one way to not do it. Now I don't do that again. I figure out a different way.
Like, here's an example of this, right? Like, I got some feedback because I tried to sell a property that I owned last year, and she said the bedroom size for the master is too small. So instead of going, cool, like, I went back to my process that I use for myself and clients, and I went, the minimum master bedroom size now looks like this. And that's just a rule now. And we've created about 150, almost 200 of these rules that we follow when we select something, so that it means regardless of having a good day, bad day, getting good advice or bad advice, I'm not going to misstep on the things that matter. And the more of those tiny little 0.5% that you add up, the higher the chance of long-term success.
For sure.
So yeah, we're super grateful to be able to talk about this stuff. Like, it's such a privilege to be able to live this life and connect with amazing people like yourself in this way.
No doubt about it. And, you know, mindset does have a bigger impact than you would believe. And, you know, be aware of the self-talk, be aware of the decisions that you're making, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and the things that you're choosing to prioritize and focus on, because it is all going to have an impact on your longer term position.
Cheers, guys. We wish you all the best. Stay safe. Definitely subscribe.
Please subscribe.
This stuff's sick, and we love talking about it as
well. And we don't often ask until the end of the video as well.
Yeah, if you're still hanging out, thanks, Jude. It's good that you're the one viewer that's at the back of this video for us. We love you, man. Can't wait to take you out for lunch in a few weeks, actually.
Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day or night or wherever you are.
Sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good.